NCRT 11th class, Chapter 4 Animal Kingdom audiobook. When you look around, you will observe different animals with different structures and forms. As over a million species of animals have been described till now, the need for classification becomes all the more important. The classification also helps in assigning a systematic position to newly described species. Basis of classification. In spite of differences in structure and forms of different animals, there are fundamental features common to various individuals in relation to the arrangement of cells, body symmetry, nature of coelom, patterns of digestive, circulatory, and reproductive system. These features are used as the basis of animal classification, and some of them are discussed here. Level of organization. Though all members of Animalia are multicellular, all of them do not exhibit the same pattern of organization of cells. For example, in sponges, the cells are arranged as loose cell aggregates, that is, they exhibit a cellular level of organization. Some division of labor or activities occur among the cells. In coelentrates, the arrangement of cells is more complex. Here, the cells performing the same function are arranged into tissues, hence, it is called as a tissue level of organization. A still higher level of organization, that is the organ level, is exhibited by members of Platyhelminthes and other higher phyla, where tissues are grouped together to form organs, each specialized for a particular function. In animals like Annelida, Arthropoda, Mollusca, Echinoderms, and Chordates, organs have associated to form fundamental functional system, each system concerned with a specific physiological function. This pattern is called organ system level of organization. Organ system in different group of animal exhibit various pattern of complexity. For example, the digestive system in Platyhelminthes has only a single opening to the outside of the body that serves as a both mouth and anus and is called as incomplete. A complete digestive system has two openings, mouth and anus. Similarly, the circulatory type may be of two types. Number 1, open type, in which the blood is pumped out of the heart and the cells and tissues are directly bathed in it. And number 2 is closed type, in which the blood is circulated through a series of vessels of varying diameter, that is arteries, veins, and capillaries. Symmetry. Animals can be categorized on the basis of their symmetry. Sponges are mostly asymmetrical, that is, any plane that passes through the center does not divide them into equal half. When any plane passing through the central axis of the body divides the organism into two identical halves, it is called as radial symmetry. Coelenterate, ctenophore, and echinoderm have this kind of body plan. Animals like annelid, arthropoda, etc., where the body can be divided into identical left and right half in only one plane, exhibit bilateral symmetry. In diagram, it is shown diploblastic, triploblastic, radial symmetry and bilateral symmetry. First figure, that is 4.1a, representing radial symmetry, where any plane gives equal half, and figure 4.1b represent bilateral symmetry. Only one plane give two equal half in bilateral symmetry. Diploblastic and triploblastic organization. Animals in which the cells are arranged into two embryonic layers, an external ectoderm and an internal endoderm, are called diploblastic animals. For example, coelenterate. An undifferentiated layer, mesoglia, is present in between the ectoderm and the endoderm, as represented in the figure 4.2a. Here only ectoderm outer layer and endoderm inner layer is present, and undifferentiated layer, mesoglia, is present in between them. Those animals in which the developing embryo has a third germinal layer, mesoderm, in between the ectoderm and the endoderm are called triploblastic animal. Platyhelminthes to chordate, figure 4.2b. As seen in figure 4.2b, triploblastic layers are shown, triploblastic animals are shown in which ectoderm, endoderm and mesoderm layer are present. Coelom. Presence or absence of a cavity between the body wall and the gut wall is very important in classification. The body cavity which is lined by mesoderm is called coelom. Animals possessing coeloms are called coelomate. For example, annelid, mollusca, arthropoda, echinodermata, hemichordata and chordates. In figure 4.3a, coelomate animals are shown in which coelom are present. That is, the body cavity which is lined by mesoderm on the both sides are representing the coelom. In figure B, pseudocoelomates are shown in which cavity are present in the form of pouches. In figure C of 4.3, acoelomate animals are shown in which there is no body cavity, that is the no cavity which is lined by the mesoderm. So, in some animal, the body cavity is not lined by mesoderm. Instead, the mesoderm is present as a scattered pouches in between the ectoderm and the endoderm. Such a body cavity is called as a pseudocoelom, and the animals possessing them are called pseudocoelomate. For example, Ash helminthes. The animal in which the body cavity is absent are called as acoelomate. For example, Platyhelminthes. Segmentation. In some animal, the body is externally and internally divided into segment with a serial repetition of at least some organ. For example, in earthworm, the body shows this pattern called metameric segmentation and the phenomena is known as metamerism. Notochord. Notochord is a mesodermally derived rod-like structure formed on the dorsal side during embryonic development in some animal. Animals with notochord are called chordate and those animals which do not form these structures are called non-chordate. For example, Porifera to echinoderms. Classification of animal. The broad classification of Animalia based on the common fundamental features as mentioned in the preceding sections is given in figure 4.4. Kingdom is Animalia, which are the multicellular organism. There are two levels of organization. One is a cellular level of organization and second is a tissue organ or organ system level of organization, which is more complex than cellular level of organization. There is a symmetry pattern. A cellular level organisms are mostly asymmetrical and tissue organ and organ system level of organization animals are mainly radial or bilaterally symmetrical animal. There is another classification level that is body cavity or coelom. If coelom cavity is present in the body, then those organisms are called coelomate. Otherwise, they are acoelomate or pseudocoelomate. Mostly cellular level or mostly asymmetrical animals are acoelomate, that is there is no true body cavity and the phylum included in it is Porifera. Tissue organ system level organization organisms are either radially symmetrical or bilateral symmetrical and radially symmetrical organisms are mostly acoelomate and this include phyla Coelenterata, Cnidaria or Ctenophora. And the bilateral symmetrical organisms in tissue organ or organ system level of organization include three type of body cavity in which they can have body cavity or they cannot have body cavity. If they do not have body cavity, then they are considered as acoelomate. For example, Platyhelminthes. If they have a false coelom, that is they are pseudocoelom, that include Ash helminthes, or with the true coelom they are included under coelomate, that is Annelida, Arthropoda, Mollusca, Echinodermata, Hemichordata and Chordata. So most of the organisms of the animal kingdom are true coelom or coelomate. Echinodermata exhibit a radial or bilaterally symmetrical depending on the stage, which is very important because the larval stage of Echinodermata shows bilateral symmetry, whereas the adult stage of the Echinodermata shows radial symmetry. Based on classification of kingdom Animalia, it is based on the fundamental features. The important characteristic feature of the different phyla are described. Number 1 phyla, that is Porifera 4.2.1. Members of this phyla are commonly called as sponges. They are generally marine and mostly asymmetrical animal. These are primitive multicellular animal and have a cellular level of organization. Sponges have a water transport or canal system. Water enters through minute pore ostia in the body wall into a central cavity spongiocele, from where it goes out through the osculum. This pathway of water transport is helpful in food gathering, respiratory exchange, and removal of waste. Choanocytes or collar cells lined the spongiocele and the canal. Digestion is intracellular. The body is supported by a skeleton made up of spicules or spongin fiber. Sexes are not separate hermaphrodite, that is, eggs and sperms are produced by the same individual. Sponges reproduce asexually by fragmentation and sexually by the formation of gamete. Fertilization is internal and development is indirect, having a larval stage which is morphologically distinct from the adult. In figure 4.5, there is examples of porifera. A figure represent a cycone, B figure represent euspongia, and the common name for euspongia is bath sponge, and figure C represent spongilla, which is a freshwater sponge. So example of porifera are cycone scypha, spongilla freshwater sponge, and euspongia bath sponge. Phylum Coelenterata Cnidaria. They are aquatic, mostly marine, sessile or free swimming, radially symmetrical animal. The name Cnidaria is derived from cnidoblast or cnidocyte, which contain the stinging capsule or nematocyst present on the tentacles and the body. Cnidoblasts are used for encourage defense and for the capture of prey. Cnidarian exhibit tissue level of organizations and diploblastic. They have a central gastrovascular cavity with a single mouth, with a single opening, which is a mouth on hypostome. Digestion is extracellular and intracellular. Some of the cnidarian, for example corals, have a skeleton composed of calcium carbonate. Cnidarians exhibit two basic body forms called polyp and medusa. The former is a sessile, that is, polyp is a sessile form and medusa is a cylindrical form. The former, which is polyp, is a sessile and cylindrical form like hydra, adamsia, etc. Whereas the later, that is the medusa form, is umbrella shape and the free swimming like aurelia or jellyfish. Those cnidarian which exhibit in both forms or exist in both forms exhibit alternation of generation, that is metagenesis. That is, polyp produce medusae asexually and medusae form the polyp sexually. It is present in the ovalia. Ovalia shows alternation of generation or metagenesis. Examples of cnidarians are Physalia, Portuguese men of war, Adamsia sea anemone, Panitula sea pen, Gorgonia sea fan, and Menadrina brain coral. In the figure 4.6, examples of coelentrates indicating outline of their body form. For example, A. aurelia, which shows medusa form, and Adamsia, which shows polyp form in the B figure. Figure 4.7 represent the diagrammatic view of the cnidoblast or the stinging capsule, which is important for the defense mechanism of Coelenterata or Cnidaria. Phylum Ctenophora 4.2.3. Ctenophores, commonly known as sea walnut or comb jellies, are exclusively marine, radially symmetrical, diploblastic organism with the tissue level of organization. The body bears 8 external row of ciliated comb plate which help in locomotion. Digestion is both extracellular and intracellular. Bioluminescence is the property of a living organism to emit light is well marked in ctenophore. Sexes are not separate. Reproduction takes place only by the sexual means. Fertilization is external with indirect development. And the example of ctenophora are pleurobrachia and ctenoplana. In figure 4.8, it is shown example of ctenophora, that is pleurobrachia. It has 2 tentacles and 8 rows of ciliated comb plate. It appears like a sea walnut. Phylum Platyhelminthes 4.2.4. They have dorso-ventrally flattened body and hence are called as flatworms. These are mostly endoparasite found in animal including human beings. Flatworms are bilaterally symmetrical, triploblastic and acoelomate animal with organ level of organization. Hooks and suckers are present in the parasitic form. Some of them absorbs nutrient from the host directly through their body surface. Specialized cell called flame cells help in osmoregulation and excretion. Sexes are not separate, fertilization is internal, and development is through many larval stages. Some members, like planaria, possess high regeneration capacity. For example, tinea, tapeworm, fasciola, liver, fluke. In the diagram, in the figure 4.9, it is representing the example of platyhelminthes. Figure A representing tapeworm and figure B is representing liver fluke, that is fasciola hepatica. Phylum Aschelminthes 4.2.5. The body of the Aschelminthes is circular in cross section, hence the name roundworms, and the figure is 4.10. They may be free living, aquatic, and terrestrial or parasitic in plants and animals. Roundworms have organ system level of body organization. They are bilaterally symmetrical, triploblastic, and pseudocoelomate animal. Alimentary canal is complete with a well-developed muscular pharynx. An excretory tube removes body waste from the body cavity through the excretory pore. Sexes are separate, that is, male and female are distinct, and if sexes are separate, then this condition is called as dioecious. Often females are longer than males as shown in the figure. Fertilization is internal and the development may be direct. The young one resembles the adult or indirect. In figure 4.10, it is representing a small structure representing the male ascaris, male roundworm, and the longer structure is representing the female ascaris. Male ascaris have the posterior end which is curvy in nature, and female has a straight posterior and both have muscular pharynx. In the female, there is presence of ovary, and in the male, there is presence of the testes. In the male, at the posterior end, penile structure can be represented which act as a copulatory organ. Example of Aschelminthes are Ascaris, a roundworm, Wuchereria, filarial worm, and Ankylostoma, hookworm. They are mostly endoparasite. They live inside the body of organism and leads to different kind of disorder, different kind of disease. 4.2.6 and the phylum is Annelid. They may be aquatic, marine and freshwater, or terrestrial, free living, and sometimes parasitic. They exhibit organ system level of body organization and bilateral symmetry. They are triploblastic, metamerically segmented, and coelomate animal. Their body surface is distinctly marked out into segments or metamers, and hence the phylum name Annelids, that is, annulus means ring. These are the little rings, and it derived from the Latin language. They possess longitudinal and the circular muscles which help in locomotion. Aquatic annelids like Nereis possess lateral appendages, parapodia, which help in swimming. A closed circulatory system is present. Nephridia, single nephridium, help in osmoregulation and excretion. Neural system consists of paired ganglia, single is ganglion, and they connected by the lateral nerves to a double ventral nerve cord. Nereis in aquatic form is dioecious, but earthworm and leeches are monoecious. Reproduction is sexual. In the figure 4.11, example of annelids are shown. A example representing Nereis and B example B figure representing Hirudinaria, that is blood sucking leech. So examples are Nereis pharetima, that is earthworm, and Hirudinaria, that is blood sucking leech. 4.2.7 Phylum Arthropoda. This is the largest phylum of the Animalia kingdom, which includes insect. Over 2/3 of all named species on the earth are arthropoda. They have organ system level of organization. They are the bilaterally symmetrical, triploblastic, segmented, and coelomate animal. The body of arthropod is covered by chitinous exoskeleton. The body consists of head, thorax, and abdomen. They have jointed appendages, that is, arthros means joint and poda means appendages. Respiratory organs are gills, book lungs, or tracheal system. Circulatory system is of open type. Sensory organs like antennae, eyes, compound and simple statocyst or balancing organs are present. Excretion take place through Malpighian tubule. They are mostly dioecious. Fertilization is usually internal. They are mostly oviparous. Development may be direct or indirect. Example: economically important insect. First, apis, which is honey. B. Bombyx silkworm, Laccifer lac insect. There are vectors, for example, Anopheles, Culex, and Aedes mosquito. These are the gregarious pests, for example, locust and locusta. Living fossils are the limulus, that is king crab. In the figure 4.12, examples of arthropod are seen. A. Locust, B. Butterfly, C. Scorpion, D. Prawn. Phylum Mollusca 4.2.8. This is the second largest animal phylum. Mollusca are terrestrial or aquatic, marine or freshwater, having an organ system level of organization. They are bilaterally symmetrical, triploblastic and coelomate animal. Body is covered by a calcareous shell and is unsegmented with a distinct head, muscular foot and visceral hump. A soft and spongy layer of skin forms a mantle over the visceral hump. The space between the hump and the mantle is called the mental cavity, in which feather-like gills are present. They have respiratory and excretory function. The anterior head region has sensory tentacles. The mouth contains a file-like rasping organ for feeding called radula. Example of mollusk in figure 4.13 is A example is Pila and B figure representing the octopus. And phylum Mollusca are usually dioecious and oviparous with indirect development. Examples of mollusca are Pila, which is apple snail, pink tada pearl oyster, sepia cuttlefish, loligo squid, octopus devilfish, aplysia sea hare, dentalium tusk shell, and Chaetopleura chiton. Phylum Echinodermata 4.2.9. These animals have an endoskeleton of calcareous ossicles and hence the name Echinodermata, spiny bodied. All the marine with organ system level of organization. The adult echinoderms are radially symmetrical but the larvae are bilaterally symmetrical. They are triploblastic and coelomate animals. Digestive system is complete with mouth on the lower or ventral side and anus on the upper or the dorsal side. The most distinctive features of echinoderm is the presence of water vascular system, which help in locomotion, capture and transport of food and respiration. An excretory system is absent. Sexes are separate. Reproduction is sexual. Fertilization is usually external. Development is indirect with free swimming larvae. Examples: Asterias are the starfish, Echinus is a sea urchin, Antedon is a sea lily, Cucumeria is a sea cucumber, and Ophiura is a brittle star. Figure 4.14. Examples of Echinodermata. Asterias A and B is Ophiura. Phylum Hemichordata 4.2.10. Hemichordata was earlier considered as a subphylum under phylum Chordata, but now it is placed as a separate phylum under the non-Chordata. Hemichordata have a rudimentary structures in the collar region called stomochord, a structure similar to notochord. This phylum consists of a small group of worm-like marine animals with the organ system level of organization. They are bilaterally symmetrical, triploblastic and coelomate animals. The body is cylindrical and is composed of an anterior proboscis, a collar and a long trunk. Circulatory system is of open type. Respiration takes place through the gills. Excretory organ is proboscis gland and the sexes are separate or the fertilization is external and development is indirect. Example of phylum Hemichordata are the Balanoglossus and the Secoglossus. In the figure 4.15, Balanoglossus is representing figure proboscis, collar and trunk. Phylum Chordata. Animals belonging to the phylum Chordata are fundamentally characterized by the presence of a notochord, a dorsal hollow nerve cord, and a paired pharyngeal gill slit. These are bilaterally symmetrical, triploblastic, coelomate with organ system level of organization. They possess a post-anal tail and a closed circulatory system. Table 4.1 represent a comparison of salient features of chordate and non-chordate. In Table 4.1, comparison of the chordates and the non-chordate. Chordates are the animals which have notochord, and non-chordate do not have notochord. Central nervous system is dorsal, hollow and single in chordate. Central nervous system is ventral, solid and double in non-chordate. Pharynx perforated by gill slit in chordate. Gill slits are absent in non-chordate. Heart is ventral in chordate. Heart is dorsal if present in non-chordate. A post-anal part tail is present in chordate and post-anal tail is absent in non-chordate. In figure 4.16, chordata characteristics are shown. There is a dorsally present nerve cord, and below the nerve cord there is a notochord, and notochord below the notochord there is a presence of pharyngeal gill slit. In the posterior surface there is a presence of post-anal part or post-anal tail, which can be seen in the embryonic stage. Phylum Chordata is divided into three subphyla: Urochordata or Tunicata, Cephalochordata and Vertebrata. Subphyla Urochordata and the Cephalochordata are often referred to as protochordate and are exclusively marine. In Urochordate, notochord is present only in the larval tail, while in the Cephalochordate it extends from the head to the tail region and is persistent throughout their life. Example of urochordates are Acidia and Sulpa and Doliolum. Cephalochordates example are Branchiostoma, that is Amphioxus or Lanceolate. In figure 4.17, Acidia, an example of urochordata, are shown. The member of subphyla Vertebrata possess notochord during the embryonic period. The notochord is replaced by a cartilaginous or a bony vertebral column in the adult. Thus, all vertebrate are chordate, but all chordates are not vertebrate. Besides the basic chordate character, vertebrates have a ventral muscular heart with 2, 3 or 4 chambers, kidney for excretion and osmoregulation, and paired appendages which may be fins or limbs. The subphyla Vertebrata is further divided as follow. Vertebrata division are Agnatha or Gnathostomata. Agnatha are without the jaw, that is they lacks jaw, and Gnathostomata they have jaws, they bear jaws. In Agnatha there is just class, and the example of that class is the Cyclostomata, and in Gnathostomata there are superclasses Pisces and Tetrapoda. Pisces have fins and the Tetrapoda have limbs. Pisces included the classes Chondrichthyes and the Osteichthyes, and the Tetrapoda included the 4 classes Amphibia, Reptilia, Aves and Mammal. Class Cyclostomata 4.2.11.1. All living members of the class Cyclostomata are ectoparasite on some fishes. They have elongated body bearing 6 to 15 pair of gill slits for respiration. Cyclostomata have a sucking and circular mouth without jaws. Their body is devoid of scales and paired fins. Cranium and vertebral column are cartilaginous. Circulation is of closed type. Cyclostomes are marine but migrate for spawning to fresh water. After spawning within a few days they die. Their larvae after metamorphosis return to the ocean. For example, Petremyozoon lamprey and the Myxine hagfish. In figure 4.18, aeolus vertebrate Petremyozoon are shown. Class Chondrichthyes. They are marine animal with a streamlined body and have cartilaginous endoskeleton. Figure 4.19. Mouth is located ventrally. Notochord is persistent throughout life. Gill slits are separate and without operculum, that is gill cover. The skin is tough, containing minute placoid scales. Teeth are modified placoid scales which are backwardly directed. The jaws are very powerful. These animals are predaceous. Due to the absence of the air bladder, they have to swim constantly to avoid sinking. Heart is 2-chambered, 1 auricle and 1 ventricle. Some of them have electric organ, that is a torpedo, and some possess poison sting, for example trigone. They are cold-blooded poikilothermous animals. They lack the capacity to regulate the body temperature. Sexes are separate. In males, pelvic fins bear claspers. They have internal fertilization and many of them are viviparous. In figure 4.19, example of cartilaginous fishes, that is Scoliodon and Pristis, are shown. Examples of cartilaginous fishes are Scoliodon, that is a dogfish, Pristis, that is a sawfish, Carcharodon, that is great white shark, and Trigone is a stingray. Class Osteichthyes. It includes both marine and freshwater fishes with bony endoskeleton. Their body is streamlined, mouth is mostly terminal. They have four pair of gills which are covered by an operculum on each side. Skin is covered by cycloid or tenoid scales. Air bladder is present which regulate buoyancy. Heart is a two-chambered, one auricle and one ventricle. They are cold-blooded animals. Sexes are separate. Fertilization is usually external. They are mostly oviparous and development is direct. Examples of osteichthyes are they are divided into three categories: marine water, fresh water, and aquarium. Marine water example of bony fishes are Exocetus, that is flying fish, Hippocampus, that is a seahorse. In the fresh water, labio, which is rohu, katla, clarius, magur are present are found. Aquarium include betta, fighting fish, and pterophyllum, which is angelfish. Class Amphibia. As the name indicates, amphidual bios life. Amphibians can live in aquatic as well as terrestrial habitat. Most of them have two pairs of limb. Body is divisible into head and trunk. Tail may be present in some. The amphibian skin is moist without scales. The eyes have eyelid. A tympanum represent the ear. Alimentary canal, urinary bladder, and reproductive tracts open into a common chamber called cloaca, which opens to the exterior. Respiration is by gills, lungs, and through the skin. The heart is a three-chambered, two auricle and one ventricle. These are cold-blooded animals. Sexes are separate. Fertilization is external. They are oviparous and development is indirect. In figure 4.2, one example of amphibians are shown: Salamandra and Rana. Example of amphibia are buffo toad, rana frog, hyla tree frog, salamandra, salamander, ichthyofish, limbless amphibia. Class Reptilium. The class name refers to their creeping and crawling mode of locomotion, Latin representing repre or reptum, to creep or crawl. They are mostly terrestrial animals and their body is covered by dry and cornified skin, epidermal scales or scutes. They do not have external ear openings. Tympanum represent ears. Limbs when present are two pairs. Heart is usually three-chambered but four-chambered in crocodile. Reptiles are poikilotherms. Snakes and lizards shed their scales as the skin cast. Sexes are separate. Fertilization is internal. They are oviparous and development is direct. For example, Chilone turtle, Testudo tortoise, chameleon tree lizard, Calotus garden lizard, Crocodilus crocodile, alligator, Hemidactylus wall lizard, poisonous snake, Naza cobra, Bengalus crate, Vipera viper. And figure 4.22 shows examples of reptiles, that is chameleon, B is crocodilus, C is Chilone or Kilon, or D is Naza. Class Aves. The characteristic feature of aves or birds are the presence of feathers, and most of them can fly except flightless birds. For example, ostrich. They possess a beak. The forelimbs are modified into wing. The hind limbs generally have scales and modified for walking, swimming, or clasping the tree branches. Skin is dry without glands except the oil gland at the base of the tail. Endoskeleton is fully ossified or bony and the long bones are hollow with air cavities, that is pneumatic. The digestive tract of the bird has additional chambers, the crop and the gizzard. Heart is completely four-chambered. They are warm-blooded homeotherms animals, that is they are able to maintain a constant body temperature. Respiration is by the lungs. Air sacs connected to the lungs supplement respiration. Sexes are separate. Fertilization is internal. They are oviparous and the development is direct. Examples are corvus crow, columba pigeon, Sitacula parrot, struthio ostrich, pavo peacock, aptenodyte penguin, nephron vulture. Class Mammalia. In figure 4.23, some birds figures are shown, for example, nephron, struthio, Sitacula, pavo. In class Mammalia, they are found in a variety of habitat, that is polar ice cap, deserts, mountain, forest, grassland, and dark caves. Some of them have adapted to fly or live in water. The most unique mammalian characteristic is the presence of milk producing gland, that is mammary gland, by which the young ones are nourished. They have two pair of limbs adapted for walking, running, climbing. burrowing, swimming, or flying. The skin of the mammals is unique in possessing hair. External ears or pinna are present. Different type of teeth are present in the jaw. Heart is four-chambered. They are homeotherms. Respiration is by lungs. Sexes are separate and the fertilization is internal. They are viviparous with few exceptions and development is direct. Examples are oviparous. Example of mammals are ornithorhynchus, that is platypus. Viviparous are macropus, kangaroo, pteropus, flying fox, camellias, camel, macaca, monkey, ratus, rat, canis, dog, felis, cat, elephas, elephant, equus, horse, delphinus, common dolphin, balenoptera, blue whale, panthera tigris, tiger, panthera leo, lion. The salient distinguished feature of all phyla under animal kingdom is comprehensively given in the table 4.2. Salient features of different phyla in the animal kingdom. Row representing phylum Porifera. Porifera, cellular level of organization, different type of symmetry, various symmetry, coelom is absent, segmentation is absent, digestive system is absent, circulatory system absent, respiratory system absent, and distinctive features the body with pores and canals involved. Coelenterata phylum have tissue level of organization, radial symmetry, coelom absent, segmentation absent, digestive system incomplete, circulatory system absent, respiratory system absent, and distinctive features is the nidoblast, they are present. Ctenophora phylum have tissue level of organization, radial symmetry, coelom is absent, segmentation absent, incomplete digestive system, circulatory system is absent, respiratory system absent, complaints for the locomotions are the distinctive features. Platyhelminthes have organ and organ system level of organization, bilateral symmetry, coelom absent, segmentation absent, digestive system incomplete, circulatory system absent, respiratory system absent, flat body and suckers are the most distinctive features. Aschelminthes phylum, organ system level of organization, bilateral symmetry, pseudocoelomate, absent in segmentation, digestive system is incomplete, digestive system is complete, circulatory system absent, respiratory system absent. Distinctive features are often worm shaped and elongated. Annelida, organ system level of organization from annelida to till chordata, that is annelida, arthropoda, mollusca, echinodermata, hemichordata. Organ system level of organization is present and bilateral symmetry is present. All are coelomate, and in annelids segmentation is present, in arthropoda segmentation is present, but in mollusca, echinodermata, hemichordata segmentation is absent. In annelida and from annelida to chordata, that is annelida, arthropoda, mollusca, echinodermata, hemichordata and chordata, circulatory system is present, digestive system is complete, respiratory system is present, but in annelida respiratory system is absent. Distinctive features of annelid is body segmentations like ring. Arthropoda main distinctive features is exoskeleton of cuticle and jointed appendages. In mollusca, characteristic or distinctive features is external skeleton of shell usually present, and in echinodermata, water vascular system radial symmetry is present in the adult stage. In hemichordata, worm-like with proboscis are present and collar and trunk is also present. In chordata, notochord, dorsal hollow nerve cord, gill slits with limbs or fins are present. Summary. The basic fundamental features such as level of organization, symmetry, cell organization, coelom, segmentation, notochord, etc. have enabled us to broadly classify the animal kingdom. Besides the fundamental features, there are many other distinctive characters which are specific for each phyla or class. Porifera include multicellular animal which exhibit cellular level of organization and have characteristic flagellated choanocyte. The coelenterata have tentacles and bear nidoblast. They are mostly aquatic, sessile or free floating. The ctenophores are the marine animal with complates. The platyhelminthes have the flat body and exhibit bilateral symmetry. The parasitic form shows distinct suckers and hooks. Aschelminthes are pseudocoelomate and include parasitic as well as non-parasitic roundworms. Annelids are metamerically segmented animals with a true coelom. The arthropod are the most abundant group of animal characterized by the presence of jointed appendages. The mollusks have a soft body surrounded by an external calcareous shell. The body is covered with external skeleton made up of chitin. The echinoderms possesses spiny skin. The most distinctive feature is the presence of water vascular system in echinodermata. The hemichordata are a small group of worm-like marine animals. They have the cylindrical body with proboscis, collar and trunk. Phylum Chordata include animals which possess a notochord either throughout or during early embryonic life. Other common features observed in the chordata are the dorsal hollow nerve cord and the paired pharyngeal gill slit. Some of the vertebrates do not possess jaws, agnatha, whereas most of them possess jaws, that is gnathostromata. Agnatha is represented by the class Cyclostromata. They are the most primitive classes. Pisces and Tetrapoda classes. Gnathostromata has two superclasses, Pisces and Tetrapoda. Classes Chondrichthyes and Osteichthyes bear fins for locomotion and are grouped under Pisces. The Chondrichthyes are fishes with cartilaginous endoskeleton and are marine. Classes Amphibia, Reptilia, Aves and Mammalia have two pair of limbs and are thus grouped under Tetrapoda. The amphibians have adapted to live both on land and water. Reptiles are characterized by the presence of dry and cornified skin. Limbs are absent in snake. Fishes, amphibians and reptiles are poikilotherms, that is cold-blooded animal. Aves are warm-blooded animal with feathers on their bodies and forelimbs modified into wings for flying. Hind limbs are adapted for walking, swimming, perching or clasping. The unique feature of mammals are the presence of mammary gland and hairs on the skin. They commonly exhibit viviparity. Thank you.